You guys sent in so many kits, I almost couldn't not do this episode. Welcome back to season 2 of Roast Your Kit. This is episode 1, but we're still gonna call it episode 11, just to keep with the numbering. Now, if you don't know how this thing works, you send in your kits, I share them, and I try not to be too mean about it. But given that we have so many, I think it might get nasty here. So let's kick it right off with one from Danville Airsoft. He has a YouTube page, so go check him out. He tries to highlight some of the funny side of Airsoft, and he sent in something that I hate with 100% of my being. He sent in an AK build that's his with a tan M4 carry handle on top of it. Who does that? He's rocking shorts and a jacket from Goodwill though, which I think is pretty drippy. Never mind, I don't like that wording. I think it's pretty cool. I don't know if it's a foreign camo or some knockoff Woodland. Almost gives me like Czech vibes, but if you have something that you know about it, Danville, like send it in the comments below. I think the most fun part about this whole setup is you kind of label it yourself as a used kit. You said you got the jacket from Goodwill, the shorts from Kohl's, the carrier that you bought off of Hop Up, and of course your everyday airsoft gun, which I hope you're not actually carrying it every day. But Danville Airsoft, this is cursed to the max, but you're wearing shorts and a cool jacket, so gotta give you some credit there. 3 out of 5 fruitcake rolls for you, my friend, nice job. You made me not give a 1 on a cursed AK build, so that's something to be proud of. Ryan sends in a video game kit, which is kind of interesting. We've had some video game kits before and they were done superbly well. So you got to hit a high bar to get one of these in these episodes. But anyway, this is a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 skin for a milsim operator during season 5 of the game's life cycle. What the hell does any of that mean? I don't know. But you made some dedication to this kit. It looks like a very functional airsoft kit. I don't know if I've ever seen an operator that looks like this in the real world, unless you're talking about the Taliban after the US left. I don't know, they've got some weird special forces kits over there. But for a Call of Duty kit, I can definitely see the functionality and appeal of this. The black mixed with the tan and the night vision goggles on the bump helmet definitely gives airsoft milsim vibes. And you know what? If it's functional for you and it matches the kit, which to be honest, looking at the photos that you sent in, it kind of does. You did a nice job for it. For an airsoft kit, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5. I know it copies a video game, but you know, definitely looks like something you'd see on the airsoft field. Ops with Kick sends in a German EGB style kit. He notes that it's a work in progress, and it's honestly been a bit since he sent this kit in, so I'm sure some improvements have been made. And in fact, I did see this kit on Reddit, believe it or not. I know, I'm on Reddit, don't judge. But being a German LARPer myself, I'm gonna kind of be harsh on this, but to be honest, it's the EGB, so it's kind of the Wild West. There's tons of freedom with that kit with private purchase items, and you do emulate that well. From the airframe helmet to the Warrior Assault System DCS, which I remember when that plate carrier came out. It's amazing that it's still making its rounds and still holding up. And a ton of Tasmanian Tiger pouches and everything. It's really, you know, it's EGB to like the nines. I would expect more issued items mixed in, but even looking at the reference photos, it's, you know, kind of private purchase everything. With the exception of the uniform and the G36. You're rocking a 416 in here, so I'm gonna have to ding you points there. Get a G36, man. They suck on the airsoft field, but they force you to be a different kind of player. And personally, I'd paint that headset green. But again, I'm getting way too into the weeds here. Nothing that you need to worry about. Ops with a Kick. It's a cool, functional looking kit that's got German flavors head to toe. So you know what? It earns my respect. Gives you a 4 out of 5 fruitcake rolls just because of that gun and just how EGB-ish it is. The next kit comes from Poland, from Wojtek Sendorek. My Polish fiance listening upstairs is probably gonna butcher me for that pronunciation after this video. But he sends in a kit that actually goes along with the gun that he sent in the Roast Your Build episode. If you haven't checked that out already, go look at it. But this is a Woodland milsim kit, and you know what? This almost takes the top spot for me. I love how basic yet functional this kit is. It gives me those 80s, 90s vibes, but still has things that are gonna be useful even today. You don't have to run a high-speed milsim plate carrier to be effective. You've got standard US Army Woodland top and bottom, with an LBVE with an LC2 belt that's modified to attach molly pouches to it. Not quite sure how you modified that, but looking at your setup here, it's super cool. Looks like you wrap that thing in IFAK, canteen pouches, maybe SAW or general purpose pouches, and it flows beautifully into that load-bearing vest. And that Colt 727 is so freaking cool. That tube handguard, I believe if it didn't already take the top spot, it was really close to it in the Roast Your Build series. It's awesome, man. I love this kit. Head to toe, it's really cool. Easy 5 out of 5 for me. Finn from Austria sends in his airsoft kit that's kind of inspired by the Austrian police, the specialized unit EKO Cobra. And I think I found the first airsofter I've ever met to iron his stuff. Regardless, I see the intention in all of these kit pieces. You have a duty belt that sort of emulates some of the police stuff, you know, with the big IFAK and the radio and everything like that. And your plate carrier has the mag pouches you need. The one thing I think you're missing is a rifle. That's kind of key here. But you know what? I get what you're going for. Actually taking a closer look, are those Nerf magazines? It's not my favorite kit, definitely not things that I would run, and it's really clean. So I'm gonna give this one a 2 out of 5. Go get some dirt on it, you know, run around, roll in the mud, play a bit, and send an updated kit. We'd love to see it in the future. We have another video game kit coming from Cozierport, and this is a roughly copying Mute from Rainbow Six Siege, another game I've never played before, and he sent in a side-by-side, and it's an all-black kit with a gas mask with an X taped over it, kind of in the voice box area, so maybe you just don't talk? Oh, that makes sense. His name is Mute. Interesting. All right, so now that I've pieced that together for myself, let's actually look at the kit. Looks like you've got shotgun shells and an MP9 and a cross-draw vest. Actually, no, you got magazines on both sides. I respect that. Cross-draws are silly. And you've got it in the bathroom mirror. I'd be very curious to see how this plays out on an airsoft field, especially with the gas mask on. It looks like it's one of those cheaper gas masks too. Don't take that onto the airsoft field. Never mind. You're gonna get your eyes shot out. But I get the intention. Looks kind of neat. Not something I've seen before, but I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 for me. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Callsign Angel sends in his Inspired Modern Delta Force Gunner Kit. And inspired is a strong word for a few reasons. I see what you were going for, but I don't know if it exactly matches up with some of the Delta stuff. I think coming out with a fleshed out kit list and finding those particular pieces, maybe picking a guy or two, would definitely help elevate this into an impression point. However, this is an airsoft kit and an airsoft episode for the start of season 2, so I'm gonna look at it with that lens. You've got a multicam plate carrier with, I believe those are multicam cry copies. If they are original, correct me below. And a very typical airsoft helmet. Seeing the mixed up pouches, especially on the belt line, is an interesting look. Once again, not something I would run, and I would love to see this kind of elevated to an impression standpoint. You've got the idea that you want to go for, so maybe rock with it. Gonna get a 2 out of 5 for me because it reminds me of the old airsoft days. Midnight Medic 304, or not P-Dub on Instagram, sends in one of the drippiest kits of this episode. It looks cool because it's got some like hypebeast stuff in here. Let's take a look at it. The plate carrier is probably the most standout piece, where you have a Defense Mechanisms Desert Tiger Stripe plate carrier. Personally, never seen this before myself, and I love Desert Tiger Stripe. Every day I regret selling the one that I had. If you remember the old videos, you remember that top. With a Spiritus Microfight chassis. Looks like it's also in that Desert Tiger. So, super cool stuff. You've got a GI Combat shirt, Victo's War-Torn MC pants, multicam pants, never seen those pants before, and a Ronin belt with Safariland, LBT, and TYR. The helmet I think is also interesting. You say you have an ACH chops cord. So it's like an ops cord, maybe a high cut ACH. Kind of cool. I've seen guys that do that, and for the German KSK stuff, for the guys who couldn't find those APHs, we found a guy that would cut paskets to that. So I get the intention and the whole process there. Neat that you're rocking one. Definitely a budget-friendly way to go for a cool-looking helmet. I like the rifle setup you've got as well. That stock is small but unique, and the paint job looks pretty effective. Overall, gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5. You did a good job, you got that cool stuff, and I respect it. Nice work. BlueRecorde sends in his kit from the French infantry in the late 1980s. He's rocking the F1 uniform, which he mentions is pretty light and perfect for the summer. A FAMAS harness with magazine pouches for the FAMAS, and a PAMAS G1 holster. Not sure if that's a typo, but I've never heard of the PAMAS G1 holster. If I take a look at it, is that like their pistol variant? He didn't have a FAMAS, but truthfully, if you did, this would elevate this tenfold. The rucksack setup you've got on there with just so many like old French pieces, you could definitely tell it's Cold War European. And I respect the look. The FAMAS would take it over the edge, so I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5, but dude, I've never seen this before, and that's kind of surprising on a channel like this where people send in tons and tons of kits. I respect it. Now, before we keep going, there's 2 things I want to tell you guys. Number 1, if you like what you see, thank you so much for liking and commenting on this video. I appreciate that support so much. But if you want to support more, check out YouTube memberships or Patreon. I have different things for different folks on there, so if you want to see some of the files and exclusive videos and things that I use for my kits, as well as some updates and kit lists that I've worked on, go check out the Patreon. But if you're just interested in seeing the behind the scenes videos, check out YouTube memberships. Thank you to all of those who have supported so far. Your help and support is greatly appreciated to keep videos like this coming to you guys. Oh, and also check out the Discord, but more on that in a little bit. Speaking of YouTube members, this one actually comes from a YouTube member, Speziiell. So thank you so much for support and sending this kit in. Let's talk about it. Here, he's got an EGB Wannabe kit. Still, I think you hit a lot of those really cool notes here, and let's talk about it. He's rocking Roman Kermaz G3 pants with a Leo Kohler Flecktarn combat shirt, a Velocity System Scarab with a bunch of Pharaoh accessories and Cry and Direct Action and custom AOR1 stuff, which I think is why you really call this a Wannabe kit. We know that EGB can kind of run a lot of their own independent stuff, but running AOR1 is a bit of a stretch. You mentioned that you use it because you used to do kind of SEAL kits, and I get it. It's an Airsoft kit, so rock what you want. And thank you for not calling it an impression kit. People in the comments would go nuts over it. I get it though. I will say your G36 build is really nice though. You're rocking an S&T G36 with the flat top, the correct stock, and an H-key rail with an LLM-01 on top. Like, that's a good build right there. Love that paint job too. That tan with kind of brown stripes isn't like a desert tiger stripe thing, but something that's really cool, and you see a lot with Bundeswehr kits. And that back panel is just so cool. Really neat kit overall. I get the intention and everything that you're doing, and you know what? It works for you, so rock it, man. Thanks again for sending it in. 4 out of 5 for me. Vibes kit for me, that's for sure. Ethan sends in a kit, which is not on him, it's a layout on the floor. He says because he hasn't been to the airsoft field in a while because of the heat. Let's talk about your kit. Ethan's got a Pharaoh Concept Slickster with a kangaroo front flap and an Agilite cummerbund. You've got real plates in there, which respect to you for running those, and a Ronin bell with a bunch of different pouches from 511s, a Fireland holster, Amazon pouches, and more Agilite stuff. One of the things you didn't talk about, which I kind of have differing opinions on, is your rifle setup. Looks like a Crytac setup, and you have no flash hider on there, which your barrel's just poking out. I mean, I guess. And that GBRS mount, that only half of it's being used. I mean, I don't like the GBRS mounts to begin with, just personal opinion, but the fact that you got no pack box on there just makes it look kind of strange. Maybe throwing one on there would help balance out the look overall, as well as like a suppressor. I think that would make this build really cool. But you know, it's an Airsoft build and an Airsoft kit. Can't hate it too much because it's effective. But is it my vibe? Not sure. So Ethan, I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5. Not a bad kit at all. Probably works just fine for you, but you know, there's things missing, literally. This is another kit that almost took the top spot for me. This one's coming from Merlin, or Dustin XM23. He submitted in one of the first episodes with his real Bundeswehr kit, and this is another one, which is a recce kit, which he used in a recent op in Bavaria. So probably a training thing. I don't think they're operating in their own country. If they did, Germany has fallen. The kit overall is a Mobast kit, so you've got all of the modern stuff that you're using. And you know what? I love this kit. It looks exactly like what I want to go for some of my Recon impressions, and it looks simple and effective. You're rocking Roman Kermaz top and bottom, which it's so funny when real Bundeswehr guys are rocking that. It's cool that it's approved, and it's always fun to see in photos. A ton of Mobast stuff with some Gucci gear like the Oakley M-frames, Arc'teryx neck gaiter, and Peltor Comtac 7s, which are issued. I would rock this. It's a 5 out of 5 on my end, man. I love it. Good job. Thanks for sending it in, and stay safe out there. Akhto, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, sends in a Juggernaut kit. We have not seen one of these on the channel before, another new one, but oh boy is this something. I will say that G36 with that crazy looking front end with the grenade launcher underneath and the drum mag and that stock for the SL9 is really neat. Looks like it was an after add too. That's a standard G36 lower, not one of the ones that was used for the SL9. You just did some crazy work on this, and we'll talk more about this when we get to the Roast Your Build episode 4. But let's talk about that loadout you got. You're wearing a British Osprey Mark IV plate carrier with a ton of stuff, a German anti-riot helmet with a paint job, 4 years total to figure out how everything can be usable and level and comfortable. And you know what? It's cool, it's unique, and probably scare all the new people on the airsoft field. My one question is why you have rounds taped to the side of your helmet. Is that a thing from a video game, again, that I don't know? It's unique, but you know, not sure how functional it is. This is gonna be a 4 out of 5 just because the bullets on the side of the helmet, I don't get those. Afoch Toby sends in a video of his kit, and this also looks like another German-inspired one. Not gonna lie, dude, the instructions always say to send in details of your kit. You didn't give any, so it's gonna be a purely vibes kit. You're missing an airsoft gun, you got a mishmash of pouches, the fake Flecktarn hurts, but it looks effective, looks really lightweight. You'd probably shred on a CQB field or something. I just don't have a lot of context. 3 out of 5 for the lack of context. Punisher did the same thing. Sends in his kit pictures, and he's actually wearing it with a gun this time, so a little bit of a bonus there. But I'm, again, missing some of that context. Is that a Novrich plate carrier too? Interesting choice, but the mix of Ranger Green with Woodland and that flannel totally gives Garand late 2010s looks. But the scrim on the helmet and the fact that you've got your rifle replica with you is really cool. I know that's the baseline minimum we're going for here. Gonna give it a 4 out of 5 for nostalgia points. Cool job. Czech, maybe I pronounced that right? That was a pretty good guess though, if I say so myself. He sends in his Czech VZ95 camo pattern kit. I don't hate it at all. That camo pattern is wicked cool. Your airsoft gun looks small yet effective, and it looks like a simple airsoft kit with cool camo. Can always appreciate seeing those. 4 out of 5 for me because, again, unique camo, I always like those. Kestrel, someone who sent in multiple times before, sent in another kit, which, again, is very basic in nature, but seems effective. In fact, he's got a couple here. So I'll go through those because he's a repeat sender, so I appreciate it. You've got some Flecktarn, always like to see that, and your chest rig belt setup, I have no clue what that is, but it looks neat, it looks effective. I just don't know how comfortable it would be long-term wearing it with a plate carrier. Your plate carrier looks slick, which, great, but is it really necessary to have all of those magazines on the airsoft field? I will say that mishmash kit that you send in at the end is kind of cool as well. You have the Multicam Arid, which I'm not necessarily a fan of. Is that one of those J-Tech or Tasmanian Tiger Russian chest rigs? So you've got the AK-12, and is that an AK-12? I don't know my AKs, man. But the Desert Tiger stripe on the bottom is cool. You got a lot of things I have no clue about, some things that I like very much, so I'm conflicted about this kit. You know, you sent in so many, and I don't know, I can't really complain about anything, except for the Multicam Arid and the AK. So I'm gonna give this a 3.9 out of 5. I'm sorry, I just don't know how to feel. Bunny sends in his 75th Ranger impressions. He's got a couple, one thing being a 2007 kit, which is such a vibe, 10 out of 10 times. This is a beautiful kit. Independently, I'm gonna give this one a 5 out of 5. That Ranger green gear with the UCP is beautiful. But the multicam kits are also really cool. I love seeing the Cry ACs rocked with that Ranger green. Even the modern one is pretty cool. It looks effective, and you know what? I think you did your homework. I'd love to see a kit list, but you know what? Aside from a rifle, I don't see anything missing from here. Oh, never mind. You did send your rifle pictures separately, so let's talk about those now. You've got your M4 and your Scarlight, and looks like, is that the more modern one? I think so, yeah. You've got neat stuff here. I love the scars, so good job there especially. These kits get a 5 out of 5 because, again, I know you did your homework, you did good work on this. I'd love to see a kit list though. And before we get to my favorite kit of this episode, let's talk about how you guys can get yours in the next one. As I mentioned earlier, Discord is gonna be the way to go from now on. I just find it easier for me to organize everything there, and you don't have to send any emails. If you don't have Discord, you could still send it to tglentries@gmail.com. But again, Discord's the easiest. Check out the link below. Now, it's gonna be a bit before we do another one, so you have plenty of time to get it in. I'm gonna need all of these by the middle of November, particularly Saturday, November 15th. If you send your pictures into the Discord as well as a general kit list, you'll probably get in there. And again, for the second one, no theme. I'll go with any airsoft kits, but again, get me those details. Now with that being said, let's go to my favorite kit of this episode, and this one comes from Jordan. Now Jordan was a last minute submission, one that literally submitted today at the time of recording. And this is his British Soldier circa 2025. He didn't want to call it a rifleman kit or a gunner kit, and I'm not sure if this is an exact impression, but if it is, I love it. Good modern British kits aren't always the easiest to come by, but you're rocking that new revision helmet with the scrim and the L110 A1, I think you said it was, or was it an A2? I don't want to butcher this. It's an A2, sorry. I've kind of been feeling the itch to go back to LMGs. I know I have my MG4 that I want to run again, but this thing is just cool. And you're rocking the real gear. So, I mean, looking at this, it probably is an impression kit. You're rocking the Virtus Soldier system, which you know is a scalable personal protection system that is modular and able to be upgraded or downgraded to suit the mission profile. You know what? You're talking like you know your stuff, and this kit is really cool. I love that L85 in there too, but honestly, the L110A2 is where it's at. It is HPA, so you did the right thing with an LMG in Airsoft. And that back panel looks like, is it a backpack, an assault pack, or just a hydration bladder? It's kind of neat too. I like the profile on that. Reminds me of the old Camelback ones, but with some upgrades. Overall, Jordan, you crushed this, man. I love this, and I'd love to see this at my local field. And the pictures are beautiful, so that always adds a couple bonuses there. So with that being said, that wraps up Season 2, Episode 1 of Roast Your Kit. We've got a ton more coming. Again, make sure you get yours in by the middle of November to the Discord, which will be in the description below. And don't forget to send me those kit lists. Please, guys, I just need them to be able to identify what half of your stuff is. Thank you so much for watching to this point, and thank you all for your support. This is The.Gear.Locker. Check you in the next one.